Welcome to another episode of Listen to Us Rant About Movies. I'm Wes Ford.
And I'm Zach Harris.
What we like to do on this podcast is we rant about movies and we drink while we do it. Tonight, we're going to be drinking Ballast Point's Dead Ringer. It's an Oktoberfest beer. And let's give it a little taste.
Let's get a sip going. It's a tasty morsel.
It's tasty. It's like your classic Oktoberfest beer, you know, but it's good.
Basic,
it gets
but
me
tasty.
It gets me excited because these kinds of beers are going to be coming up this time of year, you know?
Totally.
I love it.
I'm a big fan.
October is my favorite month, and we're going to have tons of beers to drink on this show. It's going to be good.
Yeah, totally. Nice choices all around.
Maybe throwing a little pumpkin beer in there, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got to do at least, like, one, you know?
Got to do at least one. It's tradition, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, this one's good. It's got some caramel flavor. It's got some brown. It's like a brown color, malty type. It's a good go-to if you love Oktoberfest beers.
It is sadly not based on the David Cronenberg movie, Dead Ringers.
Right.
But
very unfortunate.
yeah.
But you do have like a nice label of this skeleton wearing like a traditional Bavarian German outfit with a pretzel and a beer. It's funny.
Very nice.
But yeah, good stuff. So, guys, we've recently launched a Patreon page. If you're a fan or even a newcomer to the show, we already appreciate the time and ears you've put to this show. But going to the movies, buying high-end craft beer, and storing quality audio files can get expensive. So, if you'd like to further support our show, please consider becoming a monthly patron for as little as $1 per month to help alleviate the cost of producing this podcast. Just go to www.patreon, that's patreon.com/LTURAM podcast, and select a tier that best suits your interests. So, speaking of this, we reached our first goal a few weeks ago, and well, Zach, I was tasked to do something with this goal.
That's true, you were.
I went and saw It, one of the movies we're going to be reviewing today, in 4DX. For those who don't know, 4DX is this hilarious viewing experience that basically like physically assaults you in the sense that you are thrown around in your chair, water is sprayed in your face, you have scents and there's smoke and lights, and it's very silly. I'll tell you about some of my experience. I'll get more into
I'm
it
excited
when we
to hear about it.
Yeah, when we talk about it, I'll tell you some of the details about certain things. But yeah, I basically was just kind of sitting there laughing to myself because every rain scene, you're getting water sprayed on you.
Oh man, there's a lot of rain in there, right?
There's a lot of rain. And it's not like, oh, this is fun. Like, it's very uncomfortable.
Were you like wet by the end of the movie?
It was like mist. So, I mean, I had it on like my face and stuff. Yeah, like it was. Yeah. I had to wipe my face constantly.
What about like the front of your like shirt? Did it get a little damp? Were you a little wet?
It was really just on my head, which is where I don't want to be. Where I don't want to be sprayed.
Yeah,
like when I'm watching a movie, you know, it's like. So there weren't a lot of scents in this one, but yeah, there was a lot of water, and the movement was like very uncomfortable. Like, it's kind of like you're in a ride. It's kind of like the Universal Studios type ride where you're like almost like the 3D, like Back to the Future or something like that.
Yeah, totally.
And there is a button on the side that says water on or off. I kept it on because you gotta have the full experience.
Yeah,
you know,
I had to.
Got to experience it, you know. But yeah, it kind of detracts from the experience for me. Like, I would never go and see a movie in this format for fun, you know. Like, I'd be like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna spend an extra $15 and go see it in this, where I'll just enjoy the movie a lot less.
Yeah, totally.
it's silly, you know, like there are lights that would flash and like the smoke machines would go during quiet moments. So it would be like it'd be quiet, but then you just hear the smoke machine going.
Yeah.
Like during this moment, like turning on and off, and it's just like this is weird. But yeah, I'm glad I did it for the podcast, and thank you to Sean Pierce who got us to the goal, and to Dan McMohan who also got us to the goal. Yeah, I was glad to experience the format, but I would never go and just like do it for fun. It was
for sure.
It was torturous and silly.
It's a long time. It's a pretty long movie to see in that too.
It really was. Like I was ready to get out of the seat, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's just moving back and forth almost constantly.
Were people? Did you get anything to like eat or drink?
No, because I knew, it wouldn't work out. You know, I got a bottle of water because I was like, I'll probably be thirsty. Yeah. And even that was like jumbling around in the little cup holder that they have.
Was there anyone with like a giant like popcorn tub in there?
Yes. There was a whole group of people who sat down right in front of me, and I was like, this is going to be funny to watch.
Yeah, totally.
And as the movie starts, there's like this preview of like 40X. Experience the movie in 40X right before the movie, and it's way more intense than the actual movie. So these people sit down, they like have hot dogs, it's like they have nachos and like these big drinks, and you know, right when they sit down, this preview basically starts, and you're thrown around, and like you're in this car, like this sports car, and you're thrown around your chair, and like you could see their popcorn flying, and like,
that's amazing.
They basically had to put their food down because you can't eat while you watch this.
Totally.
Because you're on a ride. It's a ride.
Yeah, it's
it's hilarious. But so it was a very interesting experience. Yeah, and each row is kind of like one section. So like the seats are connected. So you kind of like move with the people next to you. There was like people on either side of me who are like moving with the seat, and yeah. There's just water sprayed all over you, and the lights are ridiculous. Like they light up the side of the theater. It's like, why? You know?
Yeah, it's like it seems very distracting.
Yeah,
it seems like they're doing everything to just make you like not watch the movie. Or like just notice how like the movie is. Like we can release whatever shit we want, put it in this thing.
Yeah.
There's no way you can pay attention.
It's interesting because they obviously sync the movie to whatever their effects are, you know. And what, you know, on one side I'm like it's pretty hilarious and ridiculous, but also it's like I kind of don't blame them for trying to bring people to the theater, you know? Like you can't fault them for that. Like I'm totally all about that, but witnessing it for myself, it's just not the way I want to experience a movie. I just want to sit down. I want to see a nice bright screen in front of me, 2D, nothing going on around me, and I can just enjoy the movie and, you know, lose myself in it.
Yeah, totally.
And it's almost hard to, because you know it's an illusion with all these effects going on around you. And but yeah, it was hilarious. I'm glad I did it. And I actually was able to concentrate on the movie, so it didn't like ruin it for me at all.
How many people were there? Was it packed or was it dead?
It was pretty decently packed. It wasn't like overcrowded, but it was there's a good amount of people in there. So it was a good watching experience for the movie itself. I think it's a good crowd pleaser, but also having people kind of everyone kind of just realizes this is ridiculous. Yeah, you know, you could sense the energy that everyone's kind of like uncomfortable. Like this is not how I really wanted to watch a movie.
It would have been amazing if the scents were like just like burnt flesh, or like you know, just like all these like really terrible smelling things.
They should get more intense like that. Yeah. There wasn't any of
breath.
That. Yeah, clown breath, sewage.
Yeah, sewage.
What smells were there? Scents. I didn't notice any scents. Now that I think about it, I didn't notice anything. I mean, there's kind of a rain-ish smell, and like when it rained, but that was it. There wasn't anything else. The rain was the most uncomfortable part because I was literally just getting sprayed in the face with water, and I literally have to wipe my face to get it off. It was very funny.
That's outrageous.
Yeah. The wind effects too. That was another thing that, like, the fans that would turn on at random moments almost, because if they're outside, there's wind effects for some reason, even if it's calm. So like at other quiet moments, they're just, you hear the fans go like turn on. It's like that's not in the movie. Yep. You could hear it start up. So yeah, it was funny. So thanks again to our supporters for having me go through that. And yeah, it was a very interesting experience. But yeah, again, I would never pay the price. It was like over $20 to watch it. I would never do that just for my own accord to enjoy a movie. But
did you go solo?
Anyways,
did you go solo?
I did. Okay. I did go solo. My fiance doesn't like horror. She wouldn't go with me, and I kind of like caught it just before the hurricane hit.
Yeah, totally.
So it was kind of like a rush thing. But I was like, you know what? Before we lose power and everything, I'm gonna go experience this. And I thought I might be the only one because it was like kind of the mutual understanding, like impending doom was coming, and I'm gonna go see a movie.
Totally.
Kind of silly, but whatever. But actually, I think a lot of people felt the same way. That's why I was kind of crowded. So,
be hysterical to be trapped in the 4DX theater for the storm. It's just like the rain thing's broken. You're like, fuck, it's raining on me.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to relax and sit down and wait it out, and all the seats are rumbling and everything's freaking out.
They can't sit anywhere comfortably.
It'd be really funny.
Also, one more thing I'll add is the seat with certain times will poke you. Like there's things in the seat.
Oh yeah.
So you're moving around and you're being poked too. So you're just like being thrown
where did the
around.
poke come into play? Like what was a part in the movie where they used it?
There's a moment I'll talk about later that's perfect. Okay. Yeah, I don't. It's a kind of a spoiler. So
all right, fair enough.
But yeah. Anyways, yeah. So, guys, this episode we're gonna be discussing what we've been watching, and then we'll talk about our double review for this episode. We're gonna be reviewing 2017's It, and followed by Darren Aronofsky's new film Mother.
Oh yeah.
So we got some good ones to talk about. Zach, why don't you start us off with your watch list?
All right, I've watched decent stack of things. I'd say the best thing I watched was The Fabulous Baron Munchausen from '62. Carol Zellman, I believe, directed it. And let me tell you,
sounds amazing.
This was one of the best movies I've seen in a very, very long time.
That's saying something.
I absolutely loved it. Like, it is so incredible. I was all about it. I was like mad that I hadn't seen any of this director's other work afterward. I was just like, what the hell? Like, where has this been? Like, I haven't seen this? What? I'm an idiot. Like,
what's it called?
The Fabulous Baron Munchausen. But yeah, it's a really interesting style. It's like live action, colorized, and shot with all these like matte paintings and stuff. But the matte paintings are in this kind of like hand-drawn style, with very, very simple, with just like black ink almost. And then the sets that connect to the matte paintings are constructed and painted in such a way that they look hand-drawn, so it connects with all these paintings. So it's this weird, surreal type feeling thing where it's like almost a hand-drawn animated thing, and there's animated aspects, but there's live-action characters, and it's colorized, but it's intentionally colorized, and then there's bursts of other, like, full color in it, like only where it like counts, basically. So it's really, really interesting style, and is just like insanely impressive.
Wow. I've never heard of it, but it looks interesting. I'm looking it up here and seeing some stills. Yeah, it looks cool.
It's really, really good. You should check it out.
Is there a difference between the fabulous and the outrageous Baron Munchausen?
I'm not sure. I know there's been other adaptations or like stories about the character, but I'm not sure. Because I know there was one before it, and I know Terry Gilliam did one after it. No, it looks like that's a just like an alternate title for it.
Yeah.
It was. I just didn't know because there are like multiple, you know.
Yeah. I just looked it up and saw that, so I didn't.
But yeah, like if you look at some of these stills, it's just fucking crazy, and they're seamless. That's the thing. It's like the effects are so good and so painstakingly done. It's not even like they could have been improved upon. You know what I mean? It's not like
interesting.
It's not even like a wow. That's impressive for then. Like it's clearly more impressive because they were doing it all by hand and stuff. But like,
right,
it holds up. You know what I mean? Like it looks really, really good still.
That's cool.
Which is really awesome. It's fantastic. 6 out of 5.
Did you catch it on? Oh, nice. You catch it on the Blue?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
UK company second run just put it out on Blu-ray, but it's a region-free Blu-ray, so
ooh,
might need to pop on that there, bud.
I might have to grab that, buddy.
Yeah, I was buying The Handmaiden off Amazon UK, and it just came in.
Oh, nice.
It just like was in my like, you may like this, and I was like, I may like that. And I clicked on it.
You're right.
Yeah, I clicked on it, and I was like, wow, this looks fucking incredible. So,
very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Well worth it.
I checked out. Finally, I finally watched Everybody Wants Some.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this is Richard Linklater's film from last year. I'm glad I did. I don't know why I put it off. I put it off, and I was like, oh, it just looks okay. Even though it's Richard Linklater, and that's in the end what convinced me to just freaking watch it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really dug it. I dug it.
Nice.
I think at first I was like, oh, okay, I know what I'm getting into, and then it kind of finds itself. I think about 3/4 of the way through, and really starts to get in this groove, and you just start to really like all the characters.
Yeah, they're all really good.
Yeah, I thought everyone was fantastic in it. And in the end, you're left with this pretty good, memorable cast of all these characters. And you know, on the surface, it's like this movie that seems to be, it's bros being bros in college, and it is that. But I don't know, it brings like this nostalgic feel, and clearly it's something Richard Linklater is connected to.
Totally.
You know, it's kind of a companion piece for. I just went blank.
Dazed and Confused.
Yes, thank you. Dazed and Confused. So yeah, it was a good, fun, easy watch. Pretty enjoyable film.
Yeah, the writing's fun. Or the writing's good, and the characters are fun. And it's just pretty classic Richard Linklater. And it's nice to see him just like, just gonna make a classic me movie. Classic this guy.
Yeah. I liked how a lot of the actors too were fairly unknowns. I looked them up after. I was like, wow. You know, like the kid from the Tom Hanks movie. Whatchamacallit? I'm sorry.
Larry Crown?
No, not Larry Crown. Road to Perdition.
Oh, yeah?
The kid from Road to Perdition is one of the main characters.
Whoa. Never put that together.
Yeah. Which was like crazy.
Totally.
And there's a bunch of like random people like that who have been in big things, but you don't really see them nowadays. And I don't know. It was a good eclectic group of characters and actors, I thought. So Definitely. Richard Linklater, he's a champ, always killing it. Love his movies.
I will say my biggest complaint with Everybody Wants Some is how the hell did those kids throw that party where they go to. That is the most insane party. Like, yeah, it's a freshman party, and it's just like octopus hookahs in this like lavish room full of pillows. It's like, I don't know about all this. Like, that part was a little.
Oh, right. The theater party.
Yeah,
totally. The theater party that they like crash.
It was a little much. There were like sculptures from like Alice in Wonderland and stuff everywhere. I was like, number one, where's this house that they're doing this at? Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a nitpick, but.
I felt the same way. I was like, this is kind of silly. Yeah, but
it's a fun movie though.
It's fun. Yeah.
Nice.
What else you got?
Let's see what I got over here. I watched part 3 and part 4 of the Yakuza Papers, or Battles Without Honor and Humanity. Been a while since I had watched the first 2, but then the box set of the new Battles Without Honor came in the mail, and I went, well, shit, now I'm real behind on these. And I already bought the next series to watch, so I went back and I watched those 2, 3 and 4, and I think 3 is called Proxy War, and 4 is Police Tactics, and they're really good. They're just they're super dense. Kinji Fukasaku has a very like documentary-ish sort of just like guy in these scenes, like filming style. The editing style is a little more sensationalized, but it's definitely dense and really like intricate plots of the Yakuza families making deals, and these like low-level Yakuza guys that are like fucking up all these things for the mid bosses, and then they're doing all these trades and trying to fuck over the main boss families, and there's all these dynamics of people like swearing their allegiance to other families or remaining neutral and then being like killed in the streets for it, and like all this crazy stuff that is really cool, but definitely demands your attention. Sitting there trying to like the Blu-rays have like a booklet with like charts of all the families and relations to all the characters and stuff, because it's a lot. It's definitely a lot to keep up with, especially coming in like months and months, potentially a year removed from 1 and 2.
Yeah,
but
sounds super complicated.
Really good though.
Definitely
complicated, but very, very well done, and I love me some Yakuza movies, so it's kind of the ultimate ones in a certain way.
Nice.
Less stylized than the, or I guess less sensationalized, stylized, like has more of a real style that's aggressive in its own way, but different vibe than the other ones that I've been watching, which is cool.
So you finished them, right?
No, I have one more left of the first series, and then there's a trilogy after that of new ones that were made like years later. But yeah, so 4 more.
Do you like
halfway through?
Do you like where it's going?
Yeah, it's nice. It kind of like jumps time before the 3rd, and then the 3rd and 4th are kind of like paired together. So it was actually like if I'm gonna break it up while watching it, I guess that was a good spot to do it. But yeah, I'm excited to watch the last one of the first series. I feel like some shit's gonna go down. Very somber ending to the 4th one, so it seems like they're gonna probably kick it back up a notch. But then there's also like a 3.5 or 4 hour long edit of all of them, of the first 5, all like the key plot elements as like a refresher. So then I'm also kind of curious to watch that, because it's like a whole different movie essentially, of like following like specific threads, you know, throughout, charting more of like the rises of like the certain characters through the like crime underworld or whatever. But
right.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome movies. They're really cool.
Got to check them out sometime.
Yeah, man. It's good stuff.
Next one I watched was I watched Blade Runner.
Nice.
Yeah.
4K?
4K. I bought the Blade Runner 4K release, so of course I had to watch it. And
of course.
Let me straight up tell you, it's one of the best looking 4K HDR TVs I own for sure, and that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It looks great. Like, it looks so good in HDR. And just to compare it to another film I watched in 4K, I got E.T. recently. I won't talk about this one, but just for comparisons of 4Ks, Blade Runner looked way better than E.T.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is E.T. had some layers of... like, they added on layers. You could see where the layers are from post. But Blade Runner is just pure 4K transfer. It looks amazing. The sound was great. And but about the film itself, and I've seen Blade Runner so many times. The only one that came out in 4K was the final cut.
About to ask about that.
Yeah, the final cut. Rewatching it, there's some parts that it's definitely aged a little. It's definitely aged.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like the movie a lot, but there are some moments where it's a little rough. It feels like it's aged. It feels a little cheesy. Super 80s. But that's just a critique about the film now. Of course, it'll always be kind of a classic, and got me really excited for the sequel.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's coming out real soon, right?
Next month.
Damn.
You better believe we're going to be reviewing that movie.
Nah, I don't think so.
Nah, I don't think I'm going to see it.
I don't want to, sorry. Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's I can imagine that Blade Runner would be a real nice 4K. That would be very disappointing if it came out and it wasn't.
Yeah,
that's a primo baby right there.
Yeah.
That's some eye candy for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they did a real good job cleaning it up, and looks fantastic. Totally worth picking up if you can play it. Now I own the movie many times over.
Yeah,
I have many copies of this movie on every format.
Do you have the briefcase one?
No, I don't have the briefcase one.
I don't either.
I have.
I didn't have Blu-ray in time or HD DVD.
I have the Blu-ray. The one I have of Blu-ray still is one of the collector's editions, but it has all the cuts.
Yeah, that's the one I have as well.
Yeah. But it's also cool too. The 4K Blu-ray of Blade Runner has all the cuts too. Only the final cut is on 4K. But,
on 4K.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. That's cool. At least they included them.
Yeah, it's cool that they own them. Put them on a separate disc, so you have all the cuts. Pretty cool.
But also, like, you give me all the cuts. Like, maybe pop director's cut on 4K too. You know.
I know.
Just give me one more.
Give me one more on the 4K. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just like director's cut. I feel like that was the one for a while. You know what I mean?
For sure. That was it.
Popped out. Quick transfer on that. You know, just clean it up real nice.
Real quick transfer.
Yeah. How long is that gonna take you? Come on, really. I know you're doing this yourself.
Yeah. Seriously. You don't need the theatrical on 4K.
Yeah.
I think that's my least favorite. That one just stands out to me because it's the one with the narration.
Oh yeah, totally.
So it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I didn't love that when I watched it, and my problem is I watch it too infrequently. Like, I've never just like watched all the cuts in quick succession to like know which one I like the best.
Oh sure.
I just like wait until it's the logical time for me to rewatch the movie and then go, haven't seen this cut in a while.
Yeah.
And then like put that one on, and then it goes like, well, that was good. Wonder how it's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't remember every detail, but
yeah. So it needs to at some point just hunker down and watch them all through, you know.
Yeah. That's quite an endeavor to do, but
oh yeah. That's why I haven't gotten around to that one yet.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Final Cut the final cut is like the one that I think obviously is the one we have to deal with being the final version, but I think it is like a pretty good cut of the film.
Totally.
So yeah, that's Blade Runner. What else you got?
I watched Violent Cop from '89.
Violent Cop?
Cop.
Oh, okay.
Takeshi Kitano. I believe his first directorial effort.
Pretty cool poster.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I was a big fan. I had seen Boiling Point previously of his, and big fan of that. And yeah, it was great. Definitely very violent, but some great set pieces. There's a really cool chase scene where it's like this foot chase, and he's running after this guy, and then this other cop's in the car, and he gets in the car, and they're driving across these like bridges over these canals, and there's this other foot team, and they're all interacting for this like big like set piece like right in the middle of the movie. It was really cool, but it wasn't it's like not amped up like so intensely.
Yeah,
it was good.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's basically just him being a very unorthodox violent cop, just like beating the shit out of people, and you know,
just being a violent cop.
Yeah, the movie opens with like this homeless man, and these like kids come up to this homeless man and like fuck with him and like hit him and stuff, and the kids walk home, and then it just shows him like walk up to this kid's house, and he like goes into this kid's house, like past like his parents. He like asks for the room or whatever, goes up to his room and just like slaps this kid in the face. He's like, you better come to the like station tomorrow. It's like, oh shit, like establishing right away. You know what I mean? Like but yeah, it was it's really well done. I liked it quite a bit.
Very cool. That's Violent Cop. I got one more to talk about.
Sure.
Was looking for something to watch. Didn't know what to do. I was on Apple TV looking through, and I was like, "What's a new release that I haven't seen?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what? How about Kong Skull Island? I'll check it out.
Oh, nice.
I actually did not like this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very good.
No, I didn't think it was good at all. I was actually a little disappointed. I knew it wouldn't be that great, but yeah. I thought at least it'd be a little more well done than what it was. It was not good. It was not a good movie.
Oh yeah, them like listening to music all the time, and like how isn't there a scene where he like pulls out like a Bowie record? He's like, "This is the new sound, man." It's like,
yeah,
aren't you stranded on an island? Like, why do you have this record that like?
Oh,
what am I watching?
In every 5 minutes, like I think literally every other scene at least is John C. Reilly talking about how he's from Chicago.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's like, dude, we get it. We're from Chicago. We know.
Yeah.
Every other line, he's like, yeah, you know what? That feeling you get when you just sit down at a game, pull out a hot dog and a beer at a Chicago Cubs game. Speaking of which, have they won the World Series yet? It's like, I get it because they just did. And
yeah.
I don't know. There's so many like things like that.
It's pretty rough. Them just like CCR, just bow now. Like they're getting the helicopters.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. They're like, just anytime they cut to a shot of someone turning on like a reel-to-reel or a record player or a radio, it's like,
yeah, like, oh, ridiculous. The soundtrack was like all good songs, but it's like too much. It's too much. It's like you.
Oh yeah.
You bought like, you know, a radio station and you just you're blasting your Pandora page, you know, it's like.
Yeah, it's like you went on iTunes and put like Vietnam playlist.
Yep, exactly.
Like Vietnam War playlist, and then downloaded it and went, all right, there you go.
We're going to use all of them.
Yeah. It's a little outrageous.
Yeah, like the color too, I thought was like too extreme too. I don't know.
It's very extreme.
The coloring, it was like very yellow and green and like, I don't know. There was a lot I didn't like about it, and it's such a good cast too. You know,
totally.
So many good actors in it, and
it's so weird.
It's
such
weird.
a fucking weird movie.
It is.
It's
dude.
really weird.
And Brie Larson is in it. She's great. She has nothing to do but like look stern.
It's just and
be like a pretty face.
I'm a woman photographer, so
yeah.
I'm also here. That's like all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's nothing against her being that. It's just like, well, if she's gonna be that, I don't know, like make her a character too. Like,
yeah, make her a character. Like, there's this forced romance between her and what's his name?
Brutal.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it was pretty rough, dude. And then like, they obviously set it up for their cinematic universe with Godzilla.
Yeah.
So the next one's gonna be. I think they already announced the next one is Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah, and Adam Wingard's directing it, I think.
Really?
Yeah, which is weird.
It was fun, but like it gets to a point where it's just like, this is just weird. Like, what are they doing? This makes no sense. What is this motivation? Is so, and like the culture of the people there makes no sense. You know, it's just I don't know.
It's a bad movie for sure.
It's bad. It's bad. Ugh.
When I watched it, I didn't. I was expecting it to be like really bad. So I was like, okay, like, not terrible. And then I thought about it, and it was like, yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's pretty rough.
You know, like, there's a couple moments that were like, not good, but not boring. You know?
I agree. But I think overall, I was thinking like, overall though, I thought the movie was kind of boring though, because I was watching it, and I was like. I was legitimately getting bored. I was like, but there's so much going on. Like, there's action, they're flying around, but for some reason, it just didn't work.
There's like two-legged, skull-faced giant lizards.
Okay,
and it's
dude,
just like...
those are so stupid. The design of those are so stupid. It's like, get it? They're designed after a skull because this is Skull Island.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool, dude. The whole plot of like him being underground, but like.
Yeah.
They're too big. He like shook them or something because he's so big. Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
Like shook the foundation of the island, which like awoke the things. It's like.
Well, this is where all the monsters live. They talk about how all these monsters live underground in this underground world, and that's where the lizards are coming from. But he keeps them down from he keeps them from surfacing. And every once in a while, there's a big one that comes out. He's got to fight it, and then of course it does. And it's just the dumbest. Why not just make them real dinosaurs? You know, just make them dinosaurs.
Yeah, who fucking cares? They gotta be weird two-legged bird skull tail lizards.
Like honestly, biologically, it doesn't even make any sense. Like two legs. What? Yeah. It's just it looks stupid.
It's poopy no-nos.
Yeah.
No, thank you. It's poopy. No, thank you.
Yeah, so I was pretty disappointed in that. And that was from this year, so.
Yeah. Well, looks like you'll be real excited for Godzilla vs. King Kong then.
You know what? I'll probably still see that.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Wingard's doing it, so I'll at least give it a shot.
What else has he done?
I watched Death Wish. He did You're Next and The Guest.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit. I love him then.
Yeah.
I like those movies.
And he just did Death Note recently. I watched that.
How was that? I heard it wasn't great.
It was fine. It was like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't know. I didn't think it was, like, great, but I didn't think it was, like, bad. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, like, a piece of shit or anything. But yeah. I know a lot of people are mad about the, like, content of it not measuring up to the show, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it's a 90-minute movie. It's definitely not going to
measure
up to this, like, 30-hour, you know? Like,
did you ever watch the original anime?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, me neither.
I watched Death Note on a plane. It's a good plane movie, I'll say that.
All right.
Yeah, good plane movie. If you're downloading movies on your iPad or something before you get on a plane, it's like, might as well download.
Yeah, easy watch.
Download Death Note. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But Shea Wiggum was good. He was in it. I liked him. And I think his name's Lakeith Stanfield, the guy from Atlanta and Get Out.
Yeah.
He was in it. He was
That's
good.
cool.
I like that guy.
I like him too.
Willem Dafoe is the weird creature.
Right.
It's like Willem Dafoe, good voice. Into that.
Margaret Qualley, she was in The Leftovers.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen The Leftovers.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing I would like strongly recommend or anything, but like it was fine.
A lot of people are hating on Nat Wolff, the main guy.
Yeah, I didn't like particularly like him, but he wasn't terrible.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's just it's kind of how I felt about the movie. It was like it was fine. Like
it's fine.
I don't know why it's necessary, but it's not like an abomination, or it's like, you know, it's pretty
sure. Fine. All right, fair enough.
There's some cool like Dutch camera angle things and stuff like that. It's fun. Whatever.
I might check it out if I'm just bored. Yeah.
It's a good one for that.
Cool. All right, so shall we move on to our first review?
Oh, I have one more thing to talk about real quick.
Okay. What's that?
How far are you through Twin Peaks?
I got to watch the movie.
Okay, you're still at the movie.
I got to watch Fire Walk with Me. Let's talk about Twin Peaks. I did want to actually hear what you thought about the finale.
I thought it was super disappointing.
Really?
Yeah. But
bummer,
not necessarily like the way that the story ends was super disappointing, but the shit that they like never addressed again is what made me upset. Like, I don't necessarily mind the concept of how they ended the show.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine with me, but the fact that they just ignore all this stuff that they brought up, like maybe like 2 episodes ago, they throw like these like crazy curveballs that it's like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, that's going on. Like, I had no idea about this. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, you're just not gonna reference that. like there's this character who's talked about through like the second half of the show, never been on the show before, talked about, referenced with characters that you know, referenced with characters that are completely new that you've never seen before, and that's the only scene they're in is referencing this other character, and then they reference him, and you never find out anything about him. It's just like, okay, why was that in the show? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe I have to do some more digging, but it gets to a point where it's like, how much digging do I have to do to justify like watching this like storyline in the show? So it was pretty disappointing. That being said, the show as a whole I still think is good, and I still really like a lot of it. Most of it. The vast majority. It's just the fact that like some of the stuff just like never comes back. That's just
that's annoying.
Yeah, it's like I didn't need answers to the questions that they proposed, but I needed justification of why I'm watching this. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And it's like,
that's just storytelling.
There's certain non sequiturs that are okay, that it's just like you follow some random guy who's involved in one aspect of a storyline that like fits in greater, you know what I mean? And you just like see that guy and it's a weird little offset and it's like, okay, whatever. Or just like something weird happens to a character that's crazy, but it's just like a tone thing and it just like puts you in the mood of, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, okay. But stuff where it's like, okay, who's this person? Okay, they're talking about this. That must be important. I've never seen that before. Okay, I guess it's not. They never talk about it again. You know what I mean? That is just like, it's to the point where it's like, how do you expect me, like how much digging do I have to do to understand why I was shown that?
Right.
It just makes me question why put it in there at all, and like how much of this was, you know.
Yeah.
how long did you structure out these episodes?
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I still want to check it out.
You should still watch it for sure. Still curious.
I'm definitely
to hear
curious.
People's thoughts.
I'm gonna have to.
Because honestly, it's so cryptic that it's like maybe there's something in the episode I just completely missed, and it's just gonna make everything make sense, and then you go, oh shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's actually amazing. This all actually makes sense, but I just am kind of tending to doubt it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I've heard it's pretty out there overall. The show is pretty out there. I mean, that's Twin Peaks.
Definitely.
But it's even more out there in this one. And, well, sorry you're disappointed, but I've also heard there might be a new one, like a second one.
Yeah, I heard that initially Showtime was... I saw something that's like Showtime says they're okay with it, just waiting for David Lynch's call. And then like 2 weeks later, it was like David Lynch says he's open to doing a season 4. So I don't know. I don't know if it's like an official thing yet, but I've heard that both of them are open to it.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, simultaneously exciting and a little frustrating because I thought like thinking that something's building to a conclusion and then being like, huh, when it's over, it's like, oh, it's not over. You know, it's just kind of weird.
It would be nice, honestly, if he had just wrapped it up nicely and just end it. You know, like wrap it up and put it away. And don't touch it again. I think, and do another movie. Yeah. Do something else. You know,
I'm okay with another movie. I'm honestly, another season comes out, I'm watching that shit day one.
Of course.
But it's just.
I'd rather him do something else. I'd rather him do something original.
The new season is like so, like I love the tone, but it's just like so far off what the original Twin Peaks was. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like there's glimpses of the original show in there, and there's moments, but like overall, it very much feels like something new. So
that's good. That's why I'm interested in it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like if it feels that new, why not just like make some new crazy universe that you can do anything you want in? You know what I mean? It's like, I guess maybe just the ideas fit to use it for that if you want to expand it more. There's like a lot there to unpack if you want to, but yeah. I don't know. Just seemed like it could have been a tighter 17 episodes, and that would have made me more happy. Because I spent all this time thinking about all these things that I don't need to know. I don't need it like in a bow. I just need it to like lead anywhere.
Just show some conclusion, that's all.
Yeah, some sort of conclusion, like, I don't know, showing the person they talk about once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I assume that I've seen him, but I'm not sure. I don't know. You'll have to watch it. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm talking generally here.
Yeah. I'm still going to check it out for sure. So, we'll talk more. We'll talk more then, but all right, cool. So, that'll wrap it up for our watch lists. Let's move into our review of It, starting right now.
When you're a kid, you think the universe revolves around you. You think that you'll always be protected and cared for. Then, one day, you realize that's not true. Because when you're alone as a kid, the monsters see you as weaker. You don't even know they're getting closer. Till it's too late. Here. Take it.
That was from the trailer of It, the new 2017 film by Andy Muschietti.
Andy
Muschietti. A description from IMDb reads, a group of bullied kids band together when a shape-shifting demon taking the appearance of clown begins, not of a clown, appearance of clown begins hunting children. This movie has done extremely well in the box office. Supposedly, the summer box office has been in the dumps. It has not done well at all. No movies are making money. It's one of the lowest.
It's making money, though.
in years, but it is making money, and well, we're gonna see that's gonna cause some change. I think we're gonna see for next year's summer, we're gonna see a lot more horror in the future. So
yeah, probably.
It proves that it was successful. So, Zach, what'd you think of it?
Thought it was pretty good. I didn't love it. I thought parts of it were great, but overall, I was kind of underwhelmed by it.
Fair enough. I liked it. I didn't love it either, but I did like it. I thought it was a good ride. I thought it was a good, fun ride, but I definitely have some issues with the movie. I think there are some plot points that are a little rough. There are some pacing issues. I feel like there's some things we'll talk about where I feel like it were unnecessary, or they went in ways that didn't need to go in that way, that was unfocused, you know. And but I'd say overall, for me, the movie was enjoyable, and I thought it was a lot funnier than I expected.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as scary as I expected. I just
Definitely
don't get scared
not.
anymore. I just don't get scared anymore. I don't.
But I think the fact that it's not scary, and I don't mean like necessarily even in the classic sense, it's like a problem for this movie.
Yeah.
Because the problem, at least the biggest. Well, you finish your thought, and then I'll.
Yeah, I was pretty much done there. Go ahead.
I think that the biggest problem for me is there was no mood. There was absolutely no atmosphere to the movie at all. It was all. No? I didn't think there was. I thought it was like all based on jump scares and like.
That's true.
And
it was.
I feel like a lot of those scenes would be so much more effective if they weren't so overscored. Like, especially the ones in the beginning, like where the kid's in the alley and all the hands come out of the door.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want to just tell the listeners that I forgot to say this earlier, that we are going to talk spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
going to be talking spoilers. Yeah, we're in spoiler town for it. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't listen to this segment. We're also going to spoil Mother, because that one's impossible to not spoil. So, anyways, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure that they knew that we're going to be spoiling.
Disclaimer, you know?
Yep. So you were saying with the kids with the burning hands.
Yeah, it just like, because that was one of the first major scenes. Obviously, the boy's arm getting eaten is the first big one, and
right.
But that's the first big one. Okay, you're playing it huge, fair enough. But like, I don't know, they were just played so big so immediately, and that it was almost like everything was like ramped to 11 from the start, so there was like nowhere to go from there. If that makes sense. Yeah. I just felt like if they like took their time with it a little more and made it a little more subdued, even like with the footage that exists, I think there's a better movie. I thought it was really overscored, and I didn't get like the tone or the mood. You know what I mean? I think it could have been a little more moody.
Yeah, it could have used a little. I don't know. It kind of had this balance where it was trying to be between, I think, two different movies. You know, like it had this feeling of being this really entertaining summer blockbuster, fun adventure type movie with these kids, and this other side where it's trying to be this really deeply disturbing horror film. And it never quite hit both of those exactly right and kind of blended them. I will say that I thought the kids did a fantastic job. I thought each of the kids were great. Like, I liked all of them. I thought they were awesome. And I thought Bill Skarsgård as it was, I thought it was original and interesting. And I respect what he was doing with it, you know? Mm-hmm. I just don't think the way that, maybe it's on the directing or the writing of the screenplay, it just, the pacing of the scares didn't work. It was being thrown at you too much, and to the point where every scene, with the kids, they each experienced a dream, and so it's like scene, kids experience a dream, one after another, and it's like, this is exhausting. It's like this isn't even
this
isn't even scary, because you know it's gonna happen,
Yeah, there's no teasing in a sense of like there's teasing where there's false jump scares, but there's right from the start it's just like all the way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then it's just like, okay, kids are being funny. Really scary. Kids are being funny. But it's there's no like building. Like they're figuring things out, but for the most part, there's not any like huge revelations. Yeah. for the audience. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, like I know, and maybe that's just because I know the story, but I don't know, the mythology of the being too just felt really like obligatory in a way. Like that it's mainly all that one kid who was at the library just bringing up like all the facts about him, and like he's like the authority or whatever, or not about him but about the town. And then
he's the exposition machine,
Yeah. And then, like, they're running, and the other kid just goes out of nowhere. He's just like, maybe it shows up as what we fear most. And it's like, where'd he pull that from? You know what I mean? Like, he just, like, said, do you remember that? They're, like, running in, like, the town square or something. And he just, like, says it. It's just like, okay, well, yeah, but, like, where'd that idea come? I think it's right after they all tell, like, their stories.
Yeah.
It's just, like, jumps so far, and it's just like, okay, that's out of the way. Like, now we can have, like, the scene where the clown is creepy.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't want to be too negative on it because I did like it. I did like the movie because I just thought it was a very entertaining film. It's an entertaining,
it's definitely entertaining
movie. It's a good first watch, but yeah, there's those moments where, especially those series of scenes back to back are just, they don't work together. It's unconventional for a film to do that because it's unconventional to do it in that sense, and also it's not effective because you know it's coming and you know that there's a scare coming, and it makes it less scary for me when I know what's going to happen. And there wasn't that build up like you talked about. And if you don't have that build up, if you really like bring up that tension and really draw out the tension over the course of the movie, that's what makes it scary.
Totally.
Not just having the creature jump out all the time.
Yeah.
Which, another thing about it is, I didn't like that there weren't like clear like rules for this creature. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, how does it? I don't know. I'm so confused on like how they were able to defeat it. Other than you band together and you can defeat it, but like I don't know. It just seemed weird. Like sometimes it was scared. Sometimes like the light in the garage, for instance, it shows up in the garage in the thing, and the light makes it go away. But other times it's out in broad daylight. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's just kind of sloppy feeling in the realm of the logistic aspect and like the mythology and stuff like that.
Yeah,
just it's like, look, it's like a weird thing and it shows up as crazy stuff and scary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another thing that was like with the rules too is like here's a good example. When he like takes over the kid, like he possesses the bully kid. It's like, okay, he can possess kids now. Okay, why does he do it to him? I don't know. And then it doesn't really pay off in any sense where it doesn't really there's no end result from that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he killed his own dad, and then he's there to like cut the rope and the kids are going down the well, but then he dies. So it's like, okay, what was the point of that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why didn't he have the kid like fight longer or something? I don't know.
I feel like the whole thing between him and the other kid too is just I don't know. There's all this like stuff about racism in the movie that they just like say is a thing, but there's like nothing like said about any of it. There's like nothing like that pertains to anything about it. You know what I mean? So I also thought that aspect of the movie was weird. It's just like, why even have this in the movie? Like, you're not saying anything except for it's bad. And, like, you know, and you're not even really saying that. You're just presenting a guy who sucks, who, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the bullies are pretty disturbing, though, too. It's, like, pretty fucked up. Like, he carves that letter in the kid's belly, and, like, it was messed up. And I thought the adults were scarier than the It clown, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Like, they did nail that part where, like, you can't trust adults. And obviously that's, like, getting in the mindset of being a kid, and, like, adults are weird, you don't understand, and you don't really only trust other kids. And it really made all the adults really creepy. And none of them are nice, and none of them are, you know, someone you can just talk to. All the kids just rely on each other, which I like that aspect of it.
I like that aspect. I think they could have beefed it up a little more, though.
Sure.
But I don't think they could have in the runtime they had. But one of the things was I thought it could have been longer.
Well, that's the crazy thing is it's over 2 hours long, yet it feels rushed. It feels rushed.
And the thing for me is, like, if I'm watching a movie and it's what, like 2:15, 2 hours 20?
It's 2 hours 15.
If I'm sitting there for 2 hours and 15 minutes, it's already a fucking long movie. I'm already there. Right. I would rather spend that 2 hours and 15 minutes watching something that is fleshed out more. You know what I mean? Or 2 hours and 45 minutes, or even like 3 hours, just to like make it better. Because if I'd rather watch something that's 3 hours long that is incredible than 2 hours and 15 minutes long that's just like pretty good, you know.
Well, I think the big issue is what we've talked about, those series of scenes, right, with the kids back to back to back. How you can solve that is you have less kids, you have less characters.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked all the characters. I like seeing them. Yeah. But you don't have the time in 2 hours to set them all up, have them have their own demon to fight, quote unquote, and to all come together at the end. Like, just have have like 4 characters. Yeah,
they all have like one thing that's just like, this is my character. Especially there's a couple of the kids that just seem like around. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And you can tell that there was stuff cut out, or at least it felt like it to me.
Like the black kid seriously felt like he was just around, like his character.
Yeah, and this goes back to what I was saying before about like the like racism aspect in the movie, about like the town or whatever.
Yeah.
And like they burnt down that house, and like the kid tells this like super long story about like hearing his like parents like burning, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's like, what's that in the movie? He just tells that story and everyone's like, whoa. And that's it.
But that's only there to explain why he has the weird dream of like the hands coming around the door and stuff.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's just,
but that's the only reason.
Yeah, it just felt I just thought that was too much. It's like injecting things into these supposed characters, and there's just like not much there, like aside from like that aspect of them. You know what I mean?
Just cut that character. Just cut that character. Yeah.
Or make the movie longer and actually like explore some of the stuff. You know what I mean? Or like say something about it.
But then if they do that, like don't give every character their own scene. Like with the dreams. Like we get it, you know, like have a couple. That's it. And that's then because of that, it just feels like one scene after another is a scene that is played out the same way, where it's not what they seem. They have a dream. They're scared. We move on. You know, it's just.
But like,
I'm not scared.
Do they even think they're dreams though? Because like they happen like.
They're real to them but then they call them dreams. Like they're like because no one else can see them.
It's just I haven't read the book.
I haven't either.
My friend had, and he was telling me about it. And a cool thing that in the book that I honestly don't know how it would translate to a movie and I haven't seen the other one in long enough to know like if they incorporated this at all. But is the like them going to see like the Wolfman or something, and then it like looks like the Wolfman because they were scared of the movie, and then that makes the kids think like they're being scared, but then it's like, oh, I saw this scary movie, and like almost writing it off. You know what I mean? But because to me, if that stuff had happened to those kids, it's like, wouldn't they have like brought it up earlier? Like, you're just gonna bury that inside? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I saw a door with the burning hands. It's like, you don't often like see that. Actually, it seems like way more visceral of a thing than
than
you would have experienced before. You know,
especially like the one kid who's like the sheltered kid who like is at that house. He's at the house, and he sees it come at him, and like there's like zombies and shit.
Immediately like run and go, oh my god, this just happened, I swear. Or I just had the craziest dream right now while I was awake. What? It's weird. You know what I mean?
I was at the creepy house, like where we keep going, where it lives, and I saw him. Like, what? That get brought up? Like,
they all bring it up. Like, I saw him too. I saw him too. It's just like, well, we all saw this fucking crazy clown and never thought to bring it up to each other. Like,
I know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, those are the big things I think that are wrong with it. But again, the good things are the kids were great. You know, like I'm amazed honestly at how good like kids are acting nowadays. Like seriously, these young kids are like acting up a goddamn storm. You know, like they're doing so good. Like I don't know how they're finding them, but yeah, I thought the cast was great, and it was funny. I laughed.
Yeah.
I felt like it was almost too much at times, and I feel like they threw too many like cursing in there too. Like every single line that one kid was saying was like, "Fuck, man! Oh fuck!" You know, it's like I don't know. It just got obnoxious.
Sometimes the usage, like if you write it in such a way, it comes off realistic of like a kid that age who would like swear too much on purpose.
Sure.
But it didn't necessarily feel like that. You know what I mean? So like I understand how that could work, but I don't think it necessarily did.
Yeah. And since we're obviously been spoiling it, they're gonna make a part 2.
Oh yeah. I figured they would.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's only like half the book, essentially.
Right. Yeah, I'll watch it for sure. It'll be interesting.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here's what I was trying to say earlier was it's probably a good call that they didn't take one part of the book, which was
the orgy
orgy scene.
Yeah, it definitely would not have fit in this iteration of...
I don't think that would have played well with general audiences. What were you thinking, Stephen King?
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't read it. Maybe it's nice in the book, but it sounds pretty fucking crazy. So.
I mean, they're kids having an orgy. It's pretty fucked up.
It's really funny.
But yeah. All right, well, overall, again, I'll say I had a lot of fun watching it. The one scene with the stabbing of the chair came with the stabbing in the movie. Like there's a part where it stabs in the back, and you like feel the sharp object in your back at the 40X.
Oh Jesus!
Show it where you just like feel this
crazy.
Thing. You're just like ah. So that was interesting. But it was more of just like obnoxious. It was just like, I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, chill out. I'm trying to just watch this. Come on.
But that first scene with like the rain, it started raining on me. I was like, oh, great.
Yeah, here we fucking go. That's really funny.
Yeah. But yeah, overall I had a good time watching the movie. I'll watch it again. but I don't think it was. It could have been better. That's the thing where I can see where it could have been better, and I can see like the things that could have changed, like tweaked. Like you said, the footage they probably have to fix it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could have, I feel like I'm also just a little sore because Cary Fukunaga was supposed to direct it, True Detective Boy, and that just would have been cherry.
How crazy.
Because he nails the mood, you know what I mean? I feel like that was what it was missing. It was the mood, the atmosphere.
But you know what, too? Like, Andy Muschietti could have done worse, too. Like, it could have been worse. It could have been, like, where the movie, like, follows the clown the whole time. And then, like, scares the... I don't know. It could have been, like, a quote-unquote, like, worse big-budget Hollywood horror film, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like for what it was, big horror, big budget, ended up being entertaining.
Mm-hmm. I also, another thing, I liked the weird, like, motion tracking of his head. How they would, like, keep his head in the same spot during certain stuff. Like when he was dancing and, like, the screen is... You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was cool.
It was at least something new that, like, I mean, I've seen it done, like, before, but not in a movie like this, so it's like, oh, at least they're like, trying something there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I liked that, too. I was like, that's pretty cool.
It's a cool technique to...
Yeah, it was a really cool technique, for sure. I think the most effective, most scary part of it was the very first scene for me. Like, that was the creepiest for me. Like,
I'd agree.
Him just talking, you know?
That was my favorite of his performance, too. I felt like that you kind of lost that, like, immediately after that scene.
You're right. You did. And the CG got a little too much at times, like, with the teeth and all that. It's like, okay, it's not necessary. You don't need to do all that. Like, it's cool that you can afford that and do that. You don't need it.
Yeah.
His whole head was basically CG. I thought the glowing eyes were too much because you can tell, like, that's not real. I don't know, but his performance itself was the best. Was in the very first scene.
Totally.
So what would you rate the movie?
I don't know. I've flip flopped on it a lot since we watched it, or since I went and saw it.
Yeah.
Heavy 2.5, light 3.
Wow. I'm going 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I heavy 3.5. I considered going. I think right after I watched it, I was like, "This is a 4," but I was like, "No." I thought about all the things that were wrong with it, and so I've leaned between 3 and 3.5. But I think, in the end, I can say I was entertained, so that's why I leaned towards 3.5 for me.
It's a good first watch. Like, I wasn't, like, upset that I went to the theater and saw it. It was fun to watch with a big crowd. But
it's a good crowd pleaser.
I don't think it has any, like, staying power. Like, it made a shitload of money, but, like, I don't know if people... It's like, will people be talking about it, like, you know, down the line as, like, one of the better...
Yeah, that's a good point. Probably not.
I don't think it has lasting power.
Yeah, you're right.
But also, it's like, it's fun time at the movies, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. And I'm glad it was successful, and I'm glad people went to the theaters to go see it. So
yeah.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see the next film. I'll totally check it out.
I'll see it.
With the adult cast going back, and yeah, be good. So that's our review of It from 2017. Next, we're going to move to our second and last review, the new film by Darren Aronofsky, Mother, starting right now.
Please, come in. Hello.
Hello. He's a stranger. We're just gonna let him sleep in our house. Hello.
Hello.
Did you know he had a wife? of you in his luggage.
What were you doing in their luggage?
What do they want? God help you.
They've come here to see me.
Come quick! You're insane! You're insane!
All I'm trying to do is bring life into this house. Open the door to new people, new ideas. I'm so sorry.
Get out of my house! You give and you give and you give. It's just never enough.
That was from the trailer of Mother, the new film by Darren Aronofsky. A slight description from IMDb is: a couple's relationship is tested when uninvited guests arrive at their home, disrupting their tranquil existence. This has been a very divisive film, to say the least, and it will surely be an interesting topic to discuss. Zach, what did you think of Mother?
I liked Mother quite a bit. I thought it was really good. I knew absolutely nothing about it going in on purpose. I tried to not watch the trailers or read anything about it, and I thought that really paid off. I haven't watched the trailer since, so I don't know if they're actually really good about not revealing anything, but it was a nice movie to not know anything and not have any any expectations going into.
Yeah,
'cause it was definitely went a lot farther and bigger than I expected it to, and was a lot less of just narrative, Yeah, it was a lot more surreal and strange and less literal, I guess, of a story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I agree with you. I really liked Mother. I know that a lot of people have, especially the people just in my theater around me, people were pissed off, at this film. And, a lot of people walked out, and there was a family of 4 next to me. I don't know why. Young kids should not take your kids to this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to reiterate, we're going to be spoiling this film. But yeah, I liked Mother, and I pretty much liked it through the ride too. I knew that it was going to be a divisive movie, but I went in open-minded. I only saw one teaser trailer or something, but I avoided as much as I could. I didn't want to know much about it. I did know that it had some big ideas, and it was about some big concepts, but that was about it. And I really, really dug Mother. It took me a while to process it too. I had to let it digest a little bit, and yeah, in the end, I thought it was a very interesting art piece. I thought that it was. I feel like it's Darren Aronofsky's most personal film, and it's clearly about himself and a little bit of issues that he's gone through with his divorce, and if you read about his life, it's very, very parallel to his own life right now. But also, it kind of deals with his concepts in all his films of madness and obsession and a little bit of religion thrown in there. And you've got this...
Most certainly.
Yeah, you've got this really interesting movie that I like how it goes... not so narrative, like you said. It kind of gets visceral, and it almost feels like a play almost.
Yeah.
How it builds and comes to this conclusion. The kind of the climax of the movie feels like this revolving set on a play or something. And I think it was fantastic. And I feel like you have this filmmaker who's at the top of his game, and you have this actress who's at the top of her game. Jennifer Lawrence was amazing, and
she was really
you had
good.
had this great cast throughout. Javier Bardem was amazing. Ed Harris, Michelle Pfeiffer, some great cameos in there. Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, totally.
I didn't know Donald Gleason was in it.
Yeah, I didn't either. And I guess that's his brother too, who plays his brother.
That's his actual real life brother?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what you get is like this really interesting film that I feel like for years we're going to be kind of looking back on it, and there's so many ways you can kind of interpret it, and I don't know. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's incredible to me that it was playing at like the Regal by my house, and this like, you know,
yeah, this film is like
very normal ass theater. Like,
yeah, this film is a wide release, like crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's amazing. I'm all about it. Definitely some people pissed off in my theater. A couple people laughed, and a guy was like, "That's it? You kidding me? Jesus Arnofsky."
Well, there goes 2 hours of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It's just like, oh, cool. Thanks for letting me know, bud. Like, I was really curious what you thought.
Yeah. It's definitely not for everyone. It's definitely
not. 100%. Definitely not for everyone. But I thought it was super interesting. And, like, I don't know how you could think it was, like, bad. You know what I mean?
If you know anything about film, if you know anything about movies, the best thing, like what kept holding me like to the point where I was like, I'm enjoying this. This is fantastic. Is like the way the film is crafted. It's just masterful. It really is. It's masterfully crafted. The tension that builds, his use of those like visceral kind of bodily, disgusting things that happen, like with Black Swan, like
totally.
For instance, the feather being pulled. And in this one, it's like the blood on the floor, and just like, and the use of sound design is incredible.
The sound is really cool.
It's amazing.
Sound stuff.
It's so effective to put you in this like really uncomfortable position to make you feel like you're going crazy, and that's what she feels like. She's going crazy, and things just escalate faster and faster and faster and faster until it's like, this is insane, like what's happening right now. And clearly it's not literal. Like you're watching this and you know that it's not literally happening. It's all metaphorical, but it's so effective in like what it's trying to show. And it's a great film that you can just kind of look back and talk about. It's a good one to discuss. There's so much to unfold.
Oh, totally. Yeah, and it's interesting because it kind of takes a turn at a certain point where it kind of becomes that way, where it's like too crazy to be real. Like there's some convenient timing, and I think it's really well done in the sense that they like prepare you for that later on, like the compression of time almost of like how perfectly things are timed out, and the choreography of like her noticing something, like I guess like when the crystal gets broken, it's still at the point where like this could actually like be something that's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because not knowing anything about the movie, I was surprised that Ed Harris showed up. I was like, whoa. I was
crazy. Too. I didn't know he was
like
in
Michelle Pfeiffer, and I was like, the rest of the movie could be these 4 people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah. And then like more and more people showed up, and obviously it goes fucking nuts. But, like, but like the way that like they break it, she's watching him, she walks out, she talks to them, comes back, he's finished, catches a moment, like goes down, looks up, he's nailing it. And it's like, this is an unrealistic compression of time, but it works in the beginning without throwing you off. But then at the end, it's used to a crazy, it's like a really effective use of it when like what's a good one? Like when the baby is being eaten, where she walks up and she
we gotta talk about that too.
The neck just breaks and you see it just go over the people, and then it's immediately like destroyed. Everyone's standing there, but then she turns around and then everyone's eating it. You know what I mean? Just like the compression of time like that, and I like the way that they
feels like a dream. It's like a dream.
Yeah, they build it up slowly throughout the movie, like the compression gets tighter and tighter. You know what I mean? Which is really cool. It had a very very good nightmarish quality to it. It felt very much like I was having a nightmare.
I walked out and I felt that's honestly one of my favorite parts about the movie is the fact that I walked out and I felt like I was in Jennifer Lawrence's head. And you never see her, the camera is never in her perspective. It's never like first person. It's always on her face. Yet, even though it's on her face, like I'm looking at her face, I feel like at the end of the movie I experienced all this through her eyes.
Well, there's also a lot of behind the head. Like,
there is.
And you're seeing what she's seeing, but she's like obscuring it in a way.
But do you know what I mean? Like,
totally.
A lot of the camera is focused on her face, but at the same time, I feel like I experienced it through her, you know, and almost like as if I was like in a VR experience where I was experiencing it in first person, and that's a really interesting thing to achieve, you know.
Totally.
Like that's to get that sense from a film and to have it be so many other things too. It's fantastic. It's just masterful filmmaking. It really is.
It really is. It was fantastic. It definitely, the mood, this is just like a weird aside, but like I went to Target after and it's like under construction and it just like, I was like, this is feels like a dream. You know what I mean? Like I'm still dreaming, you know, and I left like everything felt really strange. It's like it affected me so much that like even like 30 minutes after the movie was over, I still felt weird, you know?
Yeah.
And not necessarily like disturbed like I did from like thinking about what was happening, but like just like a weird feeling, you know?
That's when I know for me a film is really good, is when I still am in that mindset hours after, you know?
Totally.
When I'm still thinking about it and still processing it and like feel that emotion like from the film is like that's when I know it's really effective. And
definitely.
All his movies really do have that effect too when you think about it. Like Requiem for a Dream like makes you feel disgusting, and the movie's amazing, but I can't watch it all the time, you know, like that is...
Oh, yeah, it's fucked.
It fucks up your mood, and same for Black Swan and Pi and The Wrestler. I mean, dude, all of his movies are... They have this certain quality, even though they're different. He has this focus on in all of his films of, like, madness and obsession and just, like... unease, complete unease. And we talked about it, how it didn't have like a good ambiance or like tone or like feeling. This is all that.
It's all tone.
It's
man.
all tone. It's all
mood.
like unease mood. Yeah. It's amazing.
And it's creative of her just like walking around for the beginning of the movie. She just like walks around. It's amazing.
She just walks around.
Yeah, it's just like these shots, they're like tight behind her and you're like catching glimpses, but like the place is so strangely laid out. You never know like where they're going or like what rooms they're popping in, and the way that the separate rooms are framed where like almost someone could come out of those rooms, and then eventually the dynamics around the house are really interesting and like done well. Of, you know, the way that they stage the action and like all the blocking and stuff. But yeah, it's a really interesting space. I didn't read too much into it, but I saw something about how it was designed on the octagon, and how the octagon is like this shape that was really important in the making of the movie.
Interesting.
And like thinking about it, it's like, yeah, I guess his photo was an octagon. You know, the photo that's like up everywhere of him, and like the house is an octagon.
Right.
And,
that's true. Never really thought about that.
Kind of a weird thing.
There's something I saw online that explains this film. Like, if we want to talk about interpretations a little bit, I mean, I kind of got this sense too, but I briefly read through this thing on Reddit that it's basically about history. It's about the entire history of our world, in a biblical sense. Meaning, Javier Bardem is God. She is Mother Earth.
For sure.
They create Adam and Eve.
For sure.
That part where you see his thing missing on the side, that's the rib taken out. Next scene, his wife shows up. They have sex. Cain and Abel show up. Cain kills Abel. And it goes through the history of human civilization. You see, even when it gets really accelerated at its height, there's the war scene. It's like, that's World War II, that's the wars, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And basically, it goes through all of human civilization. We've sacrificed everything. The baby is Jesus. We consume Jesus. There's religion that exists. And in the end, humans have killed Earth. And she kills humans with Mother Nature, blows everyone up. Javier Bardem comes out unscathed because he's a god, doesn't matter. And he takes the last bit of her, which is her heart, and makes it into a crystal, the forbidden fruit, which was held in his office, which is like the forbidden forest and all that.
Yeah,
the Bible.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, when you really look into it, it's like, that's exactly what it is. But it's also layered like an onion of so many other things.
Yeah, because it's like there's I feel like I was catching on to the religious, sort of like Mother Earth planet vibe, but there's just so many other things and other like ways I feel like it could be interpreted, or just like you were talking about, like it being like somewhat about like really like a personal work. I can see that, you know what I mean?
It is.
And I
it
can
totally is.
I can see how it's also just like more about like religion and the Bible than about like the current planet, and the way that we're currently treating it. And it's just like it's interesting because there's just like so much to unpack, and I feel like a rewatch is going to be really interesting of this.
I agree,
because after knowing how crazy it goes and how big it goes, it's like I'm going to be very interested to see what's kind of like subtly there in the beginning, because I'm sure there's some cues that you miss out on the first time.
Yeah, I can't wait to rewatch it, honestly.
Which is crazy because it's such a fucked movie that's like so
really
like
is.
devastating at the end. Like when she's getting beat up on the ground,
that's fucked.
It was like so hard to watch, but it was effective. Like it worked, but
the baby too was kind of fucked me up a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, I was expecting something bad to happen, obviously. At that
of course, you're waiting for it, and you know it's gonna happen.
There's the neck snap, and like that's enough, and then you see it's fucking like mutilated corpse, and I didn't
expect that.
Yeah,
and then they're eating it.
That's not something I've really seen in a movie.
Dude.
Yeah, and then they're eating it, and then it's gross, and then she starts cutting people with glass. It's insane. It's insane.
She starts stabbing people.
Yeah.
She still used to. I mean, at that point too, do you blame her? And it's like I really, you feel for her too the whole time, because it's like,
oh yeah,
dude, if this was my house, I'd be like that too. Like, fuck you,
get out, the fuck out of here, like,
get out of my house. And then she like feels heartbroken because obviously she loves him. She wants to do right by him. And he's just like wants people to keep coming in here, and she's like, no, I don't really feel comfortable with this, but this is what he wants. I love him. It's fine. He keeps bringing people in, and then it like gets to this destructive phase. And I love when she finally cracks, and that's like with the sink, falling, because they're being dicks and they break the sink, and then the water goes there. She's like, get out! It's like that's her breaking point, really, right there. And that was just like the timing of that was so effective, because there's that guy that's hitting on her, then there's the people like jumping on the sink, and it's just like God, it's intense.
Totally.
It's so intense.
It's amazing. It's so good. The way I felt even before things got super crazy. Man, they nail it so bad. Just like putting you in her shoes, it's just like, oh my God, I can't handle these people anymore. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, get out. Like,
yes.
And when she makes that meal for him, and it's like so sweet, and she's pregnant, she's like, no, I've got it. And he's like, no, I'm going to help. You know what I mean? They're like going to have this amazing dinner, and it's just like, that's when it starts to get really bad.
Yeah, when all the crowds out there, and they're like, they're going to have this nice dinner, and she just does so much for him, and she literally gives up everything. And that's what makes it heartbreaking at the end when she's like, I gave you everything, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, you fucking did, man. That sucks.
Totally.
And then he's like, I take one last thing from you. It's like, this guy's such an asshole. And she's like, but I got nothing left. Take it. And it takes her essence, her soul, and everything. It's like, dude. Whoa.
Fucking crazy, dude.
And then it starts all over again. It's fucking crazy. You never see... I thought that was interesting, too, that even though they go outside, we're going to the hospital. You never see any cars. You never see a driveway. There's only the house, and it's surrounded by trees. Nothing else exists.
Totally.
Really interesting. And it's definitely... like, it's totally an art piece, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand that, and I also don't... well, it's just not something that we get typically in a wide release either. Yeah. It's like there's normal people coming into this movie and thinking it's one thing, which let me just discuss, talking about trailers. The trailers are deceiving. They are deceiving.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they make it seem like it's going to be this, like, I mean, it kind of is already, but a psychological thriller that's just different than this. It's not this. But I'm glad I didn't watch all those because I didn't really know what to expect. So
yeah,
it's better to go in blind and then just experience this insane ride.
Yeah, it's really crazy. There's I don't know what I was gonna say. I'm sorry. I drew blank.
That's all right.
Drew up blank there.
I feel like we can continue to talk about this movie forever, but yeah, I mean, what your general thoughts are? You loved it, right?
Oh yeah, I thought it was amazing. I guess two quick things. Three quick things. Thought it was interesting. There was like really no score in the movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Like it ended, and I was like, was there any music in that movie at all?
You're right. I don't even know.
Doesn't matter. I don't really think there was. I think it was just cool sound, like interesting sound design stuff.
Really good sound design.
Yeah, cool sound design, and maybe some ambient tracks. But honestly, I don't even know. I don't know if there was, which is impressive, because I feel like a lot of the time when there's stuff like that, there's just no score. It's like an instant go, whoa, there was no score. You know what I mean? But for it to end, it was like an hour later. I was like, I don't think there was any music in that movie at all. Like, it's kind of interesting. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah. Well, just that. Talking more about having the personal aspect for Darren Aronofsky is like this kind of this was written in the course of 5 days apparently. He wrote this in 5 days. Yes.
That's crazy.
And it follows kind of after he broke up with his wife, who they have 2 kids with, and he's now dating Jennifer Lawrence.
Yep.
And he wrote the movie for her, so it kind of deals with him being a guy who has writer's block, which he didn't make a movie for a long time. So it's him dealing with writer's block, which the character deals with, and then dating someone who's a lot younger than him, and then dealing with the issues of marriage and all that too. So again, there's so much to unravel with this movie.
Totally.
But, yeah, I just wanted to mention the fact that he just wrote it in the course of like 5 days, and I feel
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
He probably just hit this like spurt of inspiration, and you can feel it. You can feel it, and it's just like it's really wonderful. It's like one of those just it's pure art to me. And it's in this medium that we're used to seeing things that aren't so. We're used to seeing things more straightforward, and this is just something that it's like a painting, but in a movie form, you know. And it's just you gotta look at it like that. You don't look at it as like this is a movie. This is like a typical film I would go and watch. This is like an art piece, and I really appreciate that. And I just think it's truly masterful.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. I feel like there are other things I want to talk about, but I don't remember right now. But
the only thing I can think of is that I liked the casting of Kristen Wiig in it. I thought that was cool.
She did a good job. It was good.
I thought it was good, almost like Dream Logic casting of just like a random familiar face that like pops in. That it feels strange that they're there, but you just kind of go with it, like you're in a dream. Yeah. It's like when you're telling someone some dream you had, and you're like, yeah, and then I don't know.
This person,
Jake Lloyd was there.
Yeah.
It's a little more normal than Jake Lloyd. But
when I first saw her show up, I was afraid that it like wouldn't. Like my first instinct was like, oh, I just hope this doesn't take me out of it. Like I hope this doesn't, because that can happen a lot with, especially with straight comedic actors that are in like a serious role. You're like, it's throwing me off, but it actually worked. She worked in the way it played, and God, the camera work is. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, because it's also playing on like the agent and like them being like having this really nice exterior and like really being like approachable and likable, and then ending up not that way. But I think
the camera work is so good around her, and then that's what helps you stay in the moment. But like around Jennifer Lawrence, and like just the camera work of like showing an emotion and then like panning over to a room and something's going on, and then panning to somewhere else and coming back, and the room is completely something else. Yeah, it has completely changed.
Totally.
But it feels real. Like it feels like it's an ever evolving like dream. Like going from one thing to another, and I believe it.
Totally.
It feels so real.
I think that's what makes the movie most effective, is them nailing that feeling.
Yes. Because if that didn't work, then I think the movie would fall apart. But you need that. Mm-hmm. And like you said, the compression of time becomes more. You become used to that, and it becomes more and more believable. It just works.
Yeah, it's really cool.
There's nothing I can.
It's just not something I've seen done a lot, which is intriguing.
Exactly. I can't think of anything bad about the movie. I can't think of anything like that super negative about it. I mean, I can't.
Yeah. I
guess I don't know what else to improve, really.
My only qualm, don't know how I feel about that exclamation point, but that's just me.
I'm not crazy about the title.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about the title in general, I gotta say.
I think it's fine. I don't need the exclamation point, but maybe I'm just being a grandpa or something.
No, yeah. I get it.
Yeah, like I get why, but also like,
No, but I'm saying I get you. Like I understand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't need it. But that's like we're looking for something,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so, there's nothing else. I don't know.
So what are you giving it?
4.5.
Yeah, I'm giving it 4.5.
Yeah.
It could go up. Could go up on a rewatch.
Honestly, it could change to a 5. I don't know. I feel like even after this talk, I feel like I'm still digesting it still after all this time, and even after the discussion. I don't know. Even though I can't think of anything wrong with it, I don't know, for some reason can't commit to a 5-star rating.
No, I feel the same way for some reason. It's not like there were any like glaring negatives, but
I don't know. I feel like I gotta watch it again, but I mean after that, I already do feel like 4.5, and that's pretty high for me. So
same here.
I mean, it's pretty up there for this year, man.
Yeah, totally.
It's pretty up there.
It's a great one. It's pretty amazing.
I'm just glad it exists, Like I'm glad Darren Aronofsky like made another film like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm glad he didn't make like another Noah, because that's not my favorite either.
Yeah, Don't need another Noah. I like Noah for what it was, but like,
there's things I like for sure. But
I'm glad this is what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's just so much talent thrown into like one compressed film. It's amazing.
Yeah.
To see it like all on screen, and the fact that it all works. Even though he wrote the script in 5 days, the care and attention to detail in the actual film making process for this is very apparent. Like that's a lot of planning, dude, to like make that work. And like, God, the camera is so good. And like, I love how it almost like rests on her shoulders and like follows her head.
Yeah, totally.
Like PO, you know,
but it's so Bobby focused on times.
Her. Yeah, it's like Bobby, and like even down the stairs, it like it's in sync with her head.
Yeah, you know? For sure.
I don't know. And then like we didn't even talk about either was like some of the moments of. I love how that blood like won't soak up, and like it keeps going down into the basement, and then it kind of unveils that that entrance.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like the sound design I think really makes it, but it feels really believable somehow, even though it's like clearly why would blood keep pouring through there?
Yeah,
like, this
totally.
This is cool. Like go in and like I don't know. That was a cool discovery for me.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
I didn't expect having her find like a secret room was going to be a thing. Mm-hmm. And then having it pay off, obviously, with them just being drums of oil to blow up the house, I guess. But
yeah, it did seem like minor nitpick. It did seem like that there was a way more to that space that wasn't explored. Like I agree. It looked like way deep in there, and I don't know if that was an intentional thing that we don't see, but
that's one thing I guess I would nitpick too is we kind of discover it and then we don't really do anything with it till the very end. Like I feel like there was something in there that we could have explored more, but we didn't.
Yeah, or even if like she ran in and the oil wasn't like right when you walk in, it was like at the end. You know, she like ran away from them into the darkness and then found that. Yeah, you know what I mean.
But like, they didn't even establish like that's what that was either.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I was just like, oh, it's a room with some big tanks in it. I didn't realize like if they had like established like even shown like a sign like flammable or something on it or that could have been more effective. So I'll nitpick that, but yeah, I mean.
It's pretty
overall,
fantastic.
In the scheme of things, it's pretty minute.
Yeah, it's a pretty fantastic movie.
Yeah, and I wish people would kind of just like stop looking at the surface of this. And people are like, oh, they get offended by like the dead baby and all this stuff. It's like, look at it, try and interpret it, read into it. People just don't. I guess general audiences don't sometimes look at films that way.
Yeah.
But if you watch a lot of movies, and if you're cinephiles like us, I think that you could find the beauty within, so to speak.
Most certainly.
But anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for our review of Mother. And as always, you can find all of our episodes on iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, Facebook. We're also on Twitter at LTURAM Podcast. If you enjoy the show, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes. Every rating brings us to more listeners, and it really does help. Feel free to email us at listentousrantaboutmovies@gmail.com. Thank you to our producer, Sean Pierce. And you too can be a producer and or supporter of this podcast by visiting our Patreon page and becoming a monthly subscriber for as little as $1 per month. Visit www.patreon.com/LTURAM podcast. That's going to do it for today. Zach, great discussion, buddy.
Good chatting.
Did you enjoy the beer?
Yeah, it was tasty. I was intending on having one of them. I did not keep to that. So.
You've had more than a few.
Yeah, exactly.
Until next time, Zach.
Until next time.